you wake the crowd. F'nAround, stop the day. Rats and raves, we got something to say.
Good morning and welcome back to F'nAround in the Morning. This is your 23rd episode. I'm your co-host, Joe.
What's good, everybody? It's JJ, baby. Man, 23, Joe. I was just sitting there thinking about it when you were letting me know right before we clicked record, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're all the way up to Jordan now.
Dude, 23, we should just stay here, except we can't.
No, we can't. We got to keep going. We could stay here if the world stopped fucking up, but we're not going to let that happen.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. What an eventful fucking lineup we have today.
Eventful, unfortunate. I don't know however you want to put it. Cover up, unfortunate, like repercussions of stupid actions, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Nothing's going right in the world.
It's fucking intense, but a little quick good shit, real quick. I talked to Prentice this morning, right?
How's he doing?
Dude, amazing. So he fucking has been like, not in a bad way, losing sleep, right? He's studying his case in and out now, dude, right? So him and his brother have been building, and I mean, I've got a list right here of stuff that they need me to handle for them, top of the week. And I'm going to be reaching out to Paris High School in Paris, California, something like that. It's a school been around since 1910, right?
Oh, wow.
Old ass fucking school. But we need to get in touch with with the high school to get his transcripts because there's a lot of fluky stuff that he found, dude. So he's super motivated, bro. And he sends his love to everybody consistently. Yeah. So he says what's up to you. He asks how everybody's doing. He just obviously... He has, I think, all of our numbers, but he pretty much just calls me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You got the click and the rapport with them, and you know his situation where he's been.
Yeah, dude. So we talk a lot, dude, pretty much at least once a day, every day. And I just wanted to give a quick little update to everybody. He's feeling great, super positive, super tired. Studying that fucking work, which you know what that law shit's like, dude. You always read through contracts and all that shit. Dude, so he's just fucking killing it. Yeah, he's killing it. It's fucking nice. But he's, like I said, sends his love. He's doing great.
Perfect. I'm glad he is. I mean, hopefully we see some movement in the future. But at this time, as long as his motivations are up, that's a step in the right direction.
Hey, dude, that's all. And you know what? What makes me feel good is that he always talks about how this is what he believed he needed. And it's not even necessarily saying that we're doing like a whole bunch. It's having that support group around you, right? People that believe in you. So he's doing fucking great, bro. Once again, awesome for coming up on that, dude. Great fucking story to get. But now on to some funny stuff, right?
Like, how funny? Are we talking like our favorite fat fuck funny or just funny?
Man, you know what? To be honest with you, Joe, you haven't been feeding me enough of that lately, and I got to get on your ass because we haven't had enough that we really can dive into about Ass Clown about, and I really want to fuck with this fat fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm saying? So.
I mean, it's unfortunate. He just keeps doing the same things over and over. He's still going after hemp. He's still going after Delta 8. There's nothing else. I
want to see some digging, bro. Let's find something out, right?
So you know what we're waiting for, right? You know what's going to happen when Holman comes and Holman's going to start trying to clear it up. We're going to start hearing all about him and Johnson going up in arms about the fact that they're trying to remove people. But it's interesting. Yeah. So I've been actually trying to dig. So before we jump into everything else, I've been trying to dig into this as well, right? So I've been trying to follow it because you remember at the end of the year, they're supposed to shut down all the funding for like the hotels and all the stuff set up for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But have you heard anything about that being shut down or being thrown out? I haven't heard anything about it shut down and thrown out. But I've also still heard the fact that, I mean, those places got massive contracts. The developers got the contracts. The hotels got the contracts. Did you know they even contract up with like restaurant groups to feed them and fund them and on the state's bill?
So I was gonna ask you about this, something I heard, because I don't like to talk about shit that I don't know. Like Joey kind of always lets me know, like, yo, that's not it's ridiculous.
Let's stay off a little bit.
Yeah. But I did hear something. So this is definitely a conspiracy theory, right?
Right.
Definitely, and I want to point that out. Scrolling through Instagram, right, and this dude points out that something about Illinois displacing 5,000 immigrants coming up. Like now, right? And he was like, isn't it kind of funny that they're going to kick them out of these hotels that they have all these contracts with, right? At the same time, some crazy polar vortex is going through the fucking state.
Did you and I not have this conversation like last year? when I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
like, we set them up for failure and death. Like, literally.
Dude, and that's what he was like, and he fully recognizes, like, hey, listen, this definitely is gonna be way conspiracy theory, right? But he was like, at what point, what do we always say, Joe? If it makes too much sense, there's a fucking problem.
Exactly.
Dude. So at what point do you look at it and be like, dude, we've been shouting that they're going to do this, not necessarily just you, because a lot of people that have been shouting the same thing you were shouting last year were called conspiracy theorists, right? So now the conspiracy pans out. It's fucking, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Is it a conspiracy now anymore? Are we still supposed to call these people crazy? That, or is this just really like sheer coincidence and all these people are crazy, right? All these people were just guessing very well.
And it's interesting you bring that up because it's, now the election thing's coming. There are a whole new power switching. Vortex is coming in. Funds are being cut off. But if we actually like dig into the finances or money of it, remember when we were talking about Ukraine and the billing going over there and like how the war dogs and how the pricing was worked?
Yes.
How much you want to,
on the last episode?
Yep. How much you want to bet if we did the same thing for those hotels, those rooms, those
and
rent,
you started
and
tracing, right? And you connect the dots and you do this stuff, you would start seeing the same type of patterns, right?
Right. The only difference is you're not padding the pockets of people coming back from Ukraine. You're padding the pockets of the people in the state of Illinois,
which we're touching on today.
Right.
So today we're going to get to the Ukraine. We have a nice little segment about that because they sent out their Cash App request and it just got paid. And now we're going to kind of dive into some of the current events that you see after we know that happened. Because mind you, I think it was either a week or a week and a half ago, they announced the new aid. Remember we talked about 100%. It on an episode.
So, and that's why I thought it was funny to bring that back up. One, because I knew we were supposed to touch on it, but two, it's Illinois just did the same thing, but it did it to real estate developers. It did it to hoteliers. It did to food industry. I mean, it touched a lot of
what do you do?
Right.
What do you do now, as like you said, with these contracts? Because even Angela has always mentioned that so many of the nice hotels had these contracts you speak of, right? So now you set them up for complete and total failure because now nobody wants to use them hotels no more, and them contracts are going to be pulled, right?
So like during COVID, I don't know if you knew this in Chicago, but during COVID, when all the hotels were shut down and people weren't really doing much, they started doing contracts with hospitals where they were giving them to like doctors and nurses and setting it up through the hospital where they can send their employees there and get a couple days to do something near their hospital, and they can stay up for a couple days to make their transportation or travel less. Because the state was covering the expenses then. So there was always a way where somebody was covering something to help it out. So
now they don't do that no more, right? They don't cover all that stuff that they covered. So them traveling nurses' jobs aren't as cozy as people think anymore.
Exactly. And like even the people who are in Illinois who are just in the suburbs, they're like, hey, you know what? We'll block this off and give you 2 to 3 days, so you're closer and you can make it easier on yourself.
Yeah.
But like, and then they did it with the migrants, and now they're going out. So what comes next? I mean, it's
but think about so COVID, the situation's definitely fucked up, right? People got the wrong perception financially, all this stuff got pulled. I get it, right? But think about the repercussions that come from displacing these people, right? At the time that we're displacing them.
As we said, if you do it during winter, you're sentencing them to death. I mean, the only way it fucking
works. And
works.
the people of Chicago. Think about how crazy things are going to get.
I mean, when you're desperate and you're hungry and you're freezing, shit goes bad. It goes fucking bad.
Yeah, you got you nothing worse than a man that's got nothing to lose. Or a woman, right? Or a human, right?
Or anyone.
Yeah, a human, right?
Or there's a family person who has a family to support and take after.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, dude.
I mean, let's be honest. If you were in their position in a place where you were freezing, wouldn't you go through all limits to protect your son?
Oh God, yeah, dude.
Yeah. If you had
I'm doing whatever I can to protect the little chooch, dude.
Exactly. If you had
Angela, we do it for the family. That's how we're coming.
Yeah. If you have find a way to get into a house, you'll get into a house, right? And now even right. Not saying, you know what I mean. Just
100%. Yeah, we don't want internet people to get the wrong perceptions and shit.
But I'm saying like that's how people are. But now even let's switch around and look at how the whole world changed when this is going on. Pre-COVID, this might have been a very different situation. I mean, there's places you can go and things like nowadays, dude. They even lock off ATM vestibule places at banks at night. Coffee shops, like for example, just throwing out. I went to go get a coffee last night. I was trying to do a coffee. Most places close at 8 now. I was getting at places at 7 and no one was here. We closed early. So the world changed since COVID.
And
too.
mind you, everybody, Joey still basically lives on UIC's campus. So
Thanks for
go
telling
to
everybody. But yeah.
oh shit. Well, my bad, dude. Dude, my
Yes,
bad.
I'm in the dorm right now talking to the dorm kids. I'm an RA.
Yeah, right now. That's what he's doing. Yeah, the one off. What's that over there? Racine and Harrison over there. You got to go down Harrison a little bit. That big tall building. He's in the top floor, 11th floor. Go look him. Go look him up.
But
No, but to say that I remember.
Right, but he's bringing up the point that there used to be 24/7 places around here. You can get coffee
dude,
all
we
the
used
time.
to be able to get anything we wanted. It. Remember, fucking 7-Eleven, Starbucks. You
Right.
had everything fucking bumping. You had two Starbucks.
Starbucks closes now. Everything closes. Like everything.
No.
Don't forget, even our Jewels aren't 24/7 anymore.
How's Carnes doing? Is Jose still staying open late or no?
I don't know. I haven't seen it recently because I'm not.
I bet you he's not, dude. I heard it's dead over there, dude.
The whole area is dead. It's absolutely dead in this whole area.
So now, what is that? So now let's get back to these contracts, though, Joe, because we understand that this hurts the people and the people of Chicago and all that shit, right? But how does this benefit and how does this hurt? Let's call it politicians. In Chicago, politics,
so this is this is an interesting thing to put it. Like it depends on how it's done, who spins the narrative. The issue is what they're going to do is they're going to blame the federal and saying the federal's pulling their funding when in actuality,
so the federal Trump, right? So in all actuality, yeah, I get it now.
That's what it's going to be. They were the good guys trying to help them, but they did. But the issue is
we didn't want to do it. Trump made us.
But if you actually go through and look at it, it was already. Remember, we talked about it before Trump won. It was already earmarked. I've said it, but like we talked about it.
Yeah,
it was already set. The fact that no matter who won, this was what was happening in Illinois. This was all they allotted for and did. That's what it is. Maybe they would have extended it if Trump didn't win, right? Because their pockets would have been padded. But the fact is, he didn't win. So why would they extend something that they never planned to extend because they didn't want to use their own dollars? So
now question. Hold on, a question for you. Does this same concept that you're saying, right? Are they going to do the same thing for the hemp stuff? So are they going to blame Trump for that too, you think?
No, they're not blaming Trump. They're blaming the fact that kids are getting hurt, remember?
So they're going to stick with that, you think? They're not going to jump on the Trump bandwagon?
That's nothing to do with Trump. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Trump went from hating TikTok and going against TikTok to now trying to stop it from being shut down because so many people get their lives and support off of it, right?
Yeah.
So he now views it as a business venture. You're talking about hemp, which supports how many people and how many industries everywhere? Like, the only people who are benefiting from shutting hemp down fully is cannabis.
And that's in Illinois, right? We understand that fat fuck has his hand everywhere.
Right. I mean, he says he doesn't, but his family does.
Of course, dude. Of course. Yeah.
Come on,
I mean,
man.
he didn't have anything to do with any of the what was that? The equipment they were making, or his brother had everything to do with all that shit during COVID and shit like that.
Exactly.
And listen, to me, Joe, I'm not gonna lie. Is it fucked up? But in a business sense, right? It'd be a little bit different if you handled it differently. Like if you said, "Hey, listen, my family makes money."
Right.
What are we gonna do? We're all business people.
Right.
Now, when you hide it and then on top of it you don't do any good from it, right? That's where you start to get the fucked up vibes from it, because that would be like you knocking what you started with 312 All, right? You started 312 All, and went crazy.
But I get it, but you have to acknowledge it. It's not only that though. It's not only the not acknowledging it, buddy. It's the fact that he's leading the charge.
Yeah.
So think about it. If the legislation, the lobbyists, other politicians were pushing it, right? There's no issue. But because he's the one at the front line doing the speeches, doing the interviews, doing everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the one pushing it. He's the one driving it.
He's an attention whore, dude. Right. He's an attention whore.
But it's also because of the fact that it's not making it through yet. It hasn't been approved. It's not done officially. So he's trying to make it done and push it over that finish line.
And to be honest with you, Joe, I don't see enough talk about it like you do, dude. Right. I'm serious. And I just don't see enough about it.
And it's funny. I'm seeing stuff like the mayor of Highland Park is going after it. And I was looking into it and trying to see. I'm like, she supported cannabis. She did cannabis, did this and that. But no, like she's going all at hemp, going crazy, trying to ban it just in their city.
And once again, playing on the it's hurting the kids role.
Exactly.
Man.
So I started
dude,
like
I'm telling you, that's a deep fucking web right there,
right.
dude. That
So,
goes insane.
So it's funny though, because then I started digging into it because I remember like, I wonder if she got donations from people. Sadly, I couldn't find anything for a donation from people, but it is interesting how much of the cannabis companies, as a larger cannabis company, were stopped being so transparent with their donations whenever everyone got caught in that ICANN pack where they were all doing donations to pay to play.
Man, dude, a crazy fucking web, man. I'm telling you, and I'm slowly digging into it more and more. I made a few connections on LinkedIn that I think came from a lot of the cannabis stuff that you were posting. And remember, actually, I sent you a post from a certain somebody just recently, and then it magically was deleted.
I don't even know who it's from. It didn't tell me who it's from.
You know who it's from.
Oh,
you know who it's from. We're not gonna put them out there.
Okay, so I said post no longer there. When I went to look, I could screen. I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I've never seen that.
Crazy how this person keeps putting up posts that make sense, right? Because remember, the last two times, the first time was something that you had an interaction with this person with, right? Then the second two times, I've seen posts, sent you posts, and then once they start getting some traction, they get deleted.
No, that's crazy. Like, it's just some people, like I don't know how to explain it. It's either they got some paperwork, they got some NDAs, they have some guilty conscience, and they want to put stuff out, and then all of a sudden, then they second guess themselves.
Threatens to hurt their pockets, something like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, but but you know what I will say, there are a few states that are standing up to, let's call it big canner, right? Because you have sent some pretty great connections my way on there. And I do interact with a lot of them, and they're, if we could get people in Illinois I know we keep talking about this and we keep busting jokes about it, but people think I give a fuck. I will gladly take that role, bro, if I can, and get unionize this bitch and get people to actually stand for something in cannabis, right? That's it, dude. That's it. That's all. I love fucking weed, and I think that Illinois is really setting a very bad example for how this can be profitable. This can be a very good thing for us to have.
Oh, 100%. Did you see me start getting in tune with Dr. Saunders?
Yes, that's actually. I don't like to put your connections out there. No. A lot of them people, you know what I'm saying. So yes, that's one of the people. Yeah.
But I was going to say he was a very informative person. He did show me some information when we were talking about the vape law, and it actually reminded me of this story. And I posted on the post, and I'll just bring it up. But he was talking about the fact that the vape things that are they're trying to ban because they're only trying to do FDA approved in Kentucky, that it's not the liquid in there they're banning, it's the battery, because it's actually doing poison in the battery. It's releasing metals. And I was like, oh my God, that reminded me of a story. And I started posting about the fact that some unnamed executives ordered a bunch of vape carts that they got for cheap, really cheap, and they got it shipped to our Michigan facility. And they kept failing the test for metals, and we couldn't figure out why. The product was passing, but they weren't. So finally, they did a scrape test and found out that the metals were leaking from the cart into the product because they were bad. They were bad vape carts, right? We're like, what the hell? How isn't this working? We can't use them at all here. They wouldn't let us use them, so they took all the carts and shipped them to Illinois. They passed all the tests in Illinois. I don't know what happened to them from there. I don't know if someone used them. If they sold them, I wouldn't be sitting on thousands in product and not use it, but what do I know? I can't say for sure what happened.
This is a life experience that you had, and this is from your experience in the cannabis industry.
So don't forget, Illinois is supposed to be the gold standard, and Michigan denied something that Illinois approved.
Yeah. That's actually quite disgusting for all you vape and cart smokers out there. That story alone right there, right? Which I know, listen, Joey would not say it on air the way that he is without full confidence and probably most likely having some type of receipt for the situation.
Right. And because exactly like, as I said, I don't know what happened when it shipped to Illinois and it passed the test.
No, of course not. Yeah. But you do know that Illinois passed the test.
I do know Illinois passed the test and they were allowed to be sold in Illinois. I don't know if they sold them. I don't know if they packaged them. I don't know what.
And then this is also something that plays into that buffer that we learned about. I think in earlier episodes, we learned about this percentage buffer that Illinois has.
Right. No, but that's for the THC levels. That's not for the metals and poisons.
No. I'm just saying they've got all these things
Like
that get things
they
past
have
tests, is
wiggle
what
room.
I'm saying.
They get wiggle
Yeah,
room.
they know how to cut all these corners, but what they're not understanding is like, even though the THC test isn't dangerous, right? It's not dangerous, right? You're just basically fucking the consumer.
Right.
So that's fine. But what you're saying is now you're talking about ways to cut corners on tests that can potentially be very, very hazardous to one's health.
Yeah. Because you're talking about metal poisonings or issues that are getting into your lungs, or I mean, the article and the stuff they're talking about is causing about brain issues and heart issues and the
Oh, I
problems you'll
bet.
get.
I mean,
Yeah.
them coils are melting all the substances down in
Right.
some form. So you're inhaling some type of metal and it's completely vaporized going into your lungs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even a doctor, and I can tell you that.
Right. And the supplier's response was, we'll just send you another batch if you want from Michigan that have a double layer of nickel paint or something, nickel coating on it to cover it up, and it'll be less likely to scrape off.
So potentially inhaling nickel.
Right.
I mean, come on, fatty. Come on, man. You got to do better. Don't be sorry no more, man. Do better. That's just crazy. Now let's get to the not so dangerous part, though. So now you're getting over on the consumer anyways, because we know they have a buffer and we know that they overcharge, right? We've established that. You just talked about this the other day. You and Mike just went to Michigan, and he loved the prices over there, right? Yeah. And it made sense, but Michigan's oversaturated, so they have their own issues. Then you come to Illinois. Illinois just has all shitty product that can be health hazardous to you because of the way they cut corners, and we're not talking about this. And then you got guys like Sam and Ty that are about to get potentially cut out of the situation and can't be a voice no more, which there's other people. You got Canna Equity, right? You've got all these,
you got multiple Wake and Bakery, like multiple versions of the similar idea concept.
Yeah. And Joey is definitely more familiar with them than me. I'm definitely familiar with Sam and Ty at Support Your Local Weed Man than Canna Equity, and they do great work. But there's not enough of that, though. You get what I'm saying? And if there is enough groups, there's not enough people that are seeing these people to follow them and support them.
Yeah.
And we need to get that more.
And it's the lobbyists and the lawyers are getting out there saying it's dangerous, it's hazardous, it's hurting people. Like if you walk into a hemp cafe to get hemp tea and get it infused, you know what you're walking into and getting. You know what I mean? You know exactly what you're getting. Mm-hmm. You're requesting it. You're asking for it. It's going on. You literally have better percentages that are probably closer percentages on those labels than the ones at a cannabis facility that has the wiggle room, if you think about it.
Ooh, message.
Right, because think about it, they're so much more stricter when they're doing that stuff because they're more likely to get consumer fraud and sued for those percents. I mean, look, Subway got sued for an inch being off, remember?
Mm-hmm. Subway, eat fresh.
Yep.
Man, but that's a very valid point, though. So they tighten up on the hemp community to squeeze everybody the fuck out, right? So they fucking strangle everybody that they don't want out, and now they're trying to make it non-existent at all, right? Which they're doing in Georgia. It's to my understanding that all those products are now supposed to be off the shelf here.
Right. But
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I know that they're gone.
But it's funny because you saw what I was talking about and comparing it. I mean, this isn't new. You know that. This isn't a new thing. I mean, what? Taxis tried this with Ubers and Lyft. Uber and Lyft won, and now Uber and Lyft did it to every other company. Hotels tried it to Airbnb. Big Oil tried it to energy efficiency and solar alternatives. Even the milk company tried it to like plant alternatives. Hell, Big Pharma did it to like CBD before weed was legal and hemp products. Remember when they were doing the like nutraceuticals, ventureceuticals? Big Pharma even did it to cannabis before cannabis got through.
Yeah, and now they just can't fuck with it.
Right. It's a pattern. It's always been this way. The big players get in, then they don't want anyone else to come in. Then they push them back, they beat them down, and it takes like 10 years to catch up. But the only difference now that I see is before they'd beat them down and talk about all these issues and it's unhealth, and they kind of beat them in submission. This time they're trying to outright like ban it and make it fall under.
They're trying to obliterate it.
Not only obliterate it, they're obliterating the competition to the point so they can become it. Because remember, when they obliterate it, they can still sell the product, but no one else can. They're
Yeah,
obliterating.
because now then what you'll see is these cannabis companies will pick up hemp products.
100%. They'll be doing the same thing with these massive outdoor facility farms, doing all this stuff that falls outside of their square footage of requirements. Then use those farms for pennies on the dollar, import it into their facility, processing under the processing of THC, sell it out of their dispensaries for a massive markup with the profits in their pocket.
Always fucking the little guy, dude.
Always. That's how they do it.
Always fucking the little guy, man.
Yep.
That's absolutely nuts. And you know what? It's absolutely crazy how all that shit, you know, ties together and runs into now we're gonna pivot slightly here, right? And we're gonna get on to Donald.
Before you do, I gotta say one more thing to it. Did you watch that show Tink told you about, Billy Bob Thornton, that new one on Paramount? Where he's the oil guy?
Landman.
Yeah, if you watch that.
I don't watch it, my wife does, but I hear all about it.
So I don't remember the exact details, but it was funny. There was an episode where they're driving through a wind farm where you see all the big wind farms. And somebody says to him, like, aren't you worried about this as competition? And then he runs through the numbers of how much oil is required just to make one of those wind things, just to get up there. And they're like how they die, how they fall apart and what, that it actually wastes more of their oil, that they make more money making it, producing and redoing it than energy will ever bring it. Like,
no shit.
They spent years fighting it just to find out they actually make more money and sell more oil for the production, the creation, the industrial creation, and the management of that piece of energy efficiency that it is. Could have been just for the show, could have been all fake, but the fact is it stuck out of my head. It's kind of funny. Like, they spent years fighting it, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, look, it doesn't hurt us.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, so let it go.
Right?
Spent all these years fighting it and money fighting it, and then here we go. Just let it go.
Right. So that was
dude. So do you watch the show now?
I'm not caught up, but yeah, I like the show now. It's actually pretty funny.
I'm gonna have to check it out then. They watch it, I think, like once or twice a week. They catch up on it.
So I haven't caught up. I think I'm a couple weeks behind because I hate waiting for a show. But I watched a couple episodes. And I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty good. Billy Bob's a really good actor.
Yeah, dude, he's the GOAT. Dude, he's one of the goats. One of the absolute fucking goats. But yeah, so we mentioned a little bit about Trump earlier. We tied him into some stuff that had to do with fat fuck, right? But you know, we got you know this. So what it looks like is the judge is going to sentence him, right? Is going to now. So they've decided that he's going to be sentenced. Now, my opinion, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess if you want to look at it and say that nobody's above the law from that sense, then okay, whatever. Well, yeah. Oh, we were gonna get there, Mr. Laptop Boy. Right? Yeah. So, if nobody's above the law, then that should definitely apply to Biden, his family, Nancy Pelosi's husband, who already got caught insider trading and still trade stocks. I mean, you've had all these things happen. So if nobody's above the law, remember that this guy is about to get sentenced, and it looks like they're going to sentence him to unconditional discharge, right? But see, this could be a good play though, Joe. Right. This could be a good play. But if you're going to sentence him to unconditional discharge, then you need to go down and you need to make sure that everybody looks into all of, you know, Biden's overseas dealings, which have some shadiness to them. His son's stuff, right? Then you got Nancy Pelosi's issue. Remember, Biden also got caught with classified documents, right? So all these things that they say Trump did, Biden got caught doing basically the same things, minus Stormy Daniels, right? But I mean, I don't know if fucking that's just craziness, dude. This guy's, I mean, that shit just blew my fucking mind.
I mean, there's not enough Viagra to make him work.
Yeah, I mean, but the Stormy Daniels shit was just completely out of fucking whack. You two had sex. Why the fuck are people getting upset because people have sex with people?
I mean, they didn't even care that much about Monica. They cared more about he lied about that fact than the fact he did.
She got caught under the desk, didn't she, or something like that? Like,
well, don't forget, did he stop a whole plane on the tarmac so he can get a haircut?
Yeah, come on, man. This guy was smacking shit. So that's cool, bro. Look, Robert, wait, what about RFK, dude?
Who wasn't he?
Come on, man. Who wasn't he hitting? And I no disrespect to him, right? We
Right.
all know. Dude, listen, actually one of the true GOATs of all time. I'm not trying to tarnish his name. That's not what this is about. But it happens, man.
Yeah.
You're the most powerful motherfucker in the world. You think motherfuckers don't want something in it? And if you give it to them, right, whatever you and your wife, that's your business, right? But to really make the man got a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon because he had sex with a girl and told her, listen, just shut the fuck up, take this.
34 times.
It's out of this fucking world, dude. I mean, people's private lives are being brought too much out there, right? That's too much personal shit involved. But now, right, whatever, he's convicted, right? So nobody's above the law. You broke a law. That's what it is. What this means for him, though, is that the way that they're going to set this up is they're going to make it so that he still can do his appeals. Right. So he's going to have a suspended sentence. He's not going to have to do no jail time. All this other stuff, no probation, no nothing, right? He's just going to basically be a convicted felon. So his only things are he won't be able to vote, which doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? He won't be able to vote, and then he won't be able to hold a gun.
Right. So here's one of the things that popped in my head. So I want to see your thoughts on this. Remember when we had that whole conversation about countries you can't go to?
Yes.
What's to say? What if they try and do that to the president of the United States, saying he can't come in because of his conviction?
Knock it the fuck off, Joe. I swear to God, if you just called this ahead of time, I'm so glad you did this on air.
It's like,
That's genius.
I just thought.
Could you imagine stopping him from going everywhere he needs to go?
Right. Like, hey, we're sorry. We don't let convicted felons into our country.
Because my sister told me that I probably wouldn't have got into Israel.
Same.
She was just letting me know, like, at that current time. I think I would now because I've almost got, like,
statute of limitations.
Much time out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the time, she was like, James, you were a convicted felon currently going in and out of jail.
Right.
They would have known that, and they would not have let you in the country.
Right. Oh, she also just didn't want you to come with. But that's not the point.
I was in prison. I couldn't.
Well, you would have if you could have.
Oh, fuck yeah, I would have went.
I would have went. Think about that, how that's set up and structured. Like, there are countries that might not.
Who do you think would stop them, Joe? That's my question.
That I don't know. But if you're trying to play a political power piece and you're trying to undermine a party or a position of power, what's a great way to do it than have, like, other people undermine the power itself?
Yeah, because we know Trudeau's punk ass ain't letting them go over to Canada.
No.
You know that.
100%.
That's over with.
Right.
Trudeau is happier than a pig in shit. He's going to have a felony on his record. He's literally at home like, oh, good, with his nail polish on or something.
Still begging he's the 51st country. But that's not the point. 51st state? Yeah, my bad. State. We're like one giant continent ourselves. Whoops.
Yo.
But I could picture it. I don't know who would do it, but I could picture people trying to do it as a power play. I mean, I could actually picture places in the Middle East doing it if he went over there. I could actually picture some places in Europe doing it. You know what I mean?
Yes. And sorry, I'm also catching up because they're doing there's some stuff on. I mean, there's a lot of good opinion on it though. I mean,
but let's take a step back further too, right? Like the amount of thing that was blown out of proportion for this and done, right? I get the whole legal process. I get how it's done, but that seemed like a lot of fucking hits for one person. And
all over sex.
Yes. But so my thought was like, it honestly, if you think about what everything that happened with tied, let's remember, if it's too obvious, it's too obvious. But if you tie into the fact when they were trying to pass the budget bill, they tried to slip in the fact that you can't subpoena the federal officials in like the House and Senate, their emails or their records of what was done before he got in, after he was elected, right? And now you're tying this coming in. I mean, what's to say emails or some messages weren't sent saying, hey, can you railroad this so he loses? Not saying it was done or it happened, but I meant like, just think about it for a second. That was a massive smear job that should have derailed a whole campaign.
And Joe, do we have any updates on if that passed or not?
Nah, I don't think it did. I really don't. I will have to check.
Because I remember you talked about it. It was quite a few episodes ago, but you mentioned that they were trying to pass a bill where we couldn't subpoena their emails no more. And I'm just kind of curious. I could look it up too if you can't find it. But
feel free. I mean, but it was interesting because I was thinking about that. Like, what if, like, that's how it was set up and done? Like, because it was set up just for that purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a very interesting concept. It's a very interesting concept. But I think that, to be honest with you, I think that he wins this on appeal, dude. If I had to, I mean,
I,
unless you really get some real somebody trying to railroad him, right? This is a very appealable case.
right.
I mean,
And honestly, as
the
I
guy
said,
used the tax code against you guys. You're sorry, my bad.
right.
A lot
Like,
of that financial shit is all he did, right, Joe? That's all he did.
well, let's actually get a list. You know what I mean? Might as well figure out what it got.
I mean, it's to my understanding from a lot of stuff that I look at and research, and a lot of the stuff that he did was him just using the tax code against the let's call it the IRS, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of,
I mean, that's everybody does that, Joe. Everybody that has money does that.
Like falsified financial documents with intent to defraud for $130,000 hush money. How he did the codes, how he did it. I mean, honestly. I mean, any cannabis company is basically doing something that nowadays.
Fuck.
The
building that owns is doing that.
Anybody who's hiring unlicensed labor is basically doing that nowadays.
Ooh.
Anybody who has somebody without a citizenship they're paying under the table is basically doing that nowadays. Any hotel any hotel or family that owns hotels that's hiring like unlicensed workers to clean it is doing this nowadays.
Man. That's a major message, dude. Major message.
You know, I mean, like the amount of like ways that this is done. That's why I said it was to railroad and shoot off a campaign. It wasn't meant to do a full on go through. I mean, honestly, if he didn't win, it probably would have been they probably would have let it go.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have heard nothing about this no more.
No, but because he did win, it makes it a bigger issue in the light, and that's why they're doing it with the appeals, because they're going to let it go on appeals, like you said. I believe they're going to let it go, or they're going to like work something out, because the amount of railroading with it looks like it was to derail a campaign that didn't work. And honestly, if this was in any other situation, it honestly should have derailed his campaign. It really should have. For the American people, this should have derailed it, which says a lot about the opposition.
Yeah. No, it definitely does. And then what do you think? Because I know this judge wants this over with. It says stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
What does this say for the judge to be the first judge ever to sentence a president to a felony?
Yeah. Well, is it the first?
I mean, no. Sitting president.
Yeah, that's a big. It's. I don't know where his career is going to go from here.
You get what I'm saying? It could go, or it could go boom. But you know what I'm saying?
It could go either way. It's a funny. It's the situation itself is unique, but the same thing. Think about it. They spent all this time to derail them, but now all you're doing is putting a black spot on our presidential stance of our position of power for the country.
Isn't this going to be our first president that's ever been convicted of a felony that's going to be president now too?
Yeah. So you have this president going forward to represent the people in one of the most powerful countries. I don't know. I'm not saying
run for president.
I told you you could. But the fact that they're doing this now, think about his position of power or weakness. Like, you want to fight. Think about like UN, NATO, all that stuff, all the things he wants to deal with and do. What's to say they say you can't come in the country and you can't sit there at this debate or sign these accolades or accords? You know,
yeah.
They could literally use this to hold over his head for leverage and fuck up the whole presidency.
Man, I hope that Trump's hip to this. Yo, if Trump's team's listening, Joey is not for hire, but we will let you use our greatest asset in the political community, right? Because I'm definitely tap into him.
It's a brilliant strategic tactic and maneuver to look like how you're adjusting it to hurt the whole party. Like, if we have a sitting duck session, right? Like, a lame session where nothing is done, nothing accomplished. Other countries don't want to deal with us because of his position and what he's doing. Not saying that will happen, but anything like that, it undermines the whole credibility of the Republican Party over the next 4 years. So the Democratic Party can be like, look who you put in office. He couldn't get anything done. Other countries wouldn't even respect him.
And then, bam, set it up for the fucking crazy liberals to have the office for the next 20 fucking years.
Right. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to go. So it all depends on
how tomorrow, right? Isn't it tomorrow?
I thought it was the 10th.
Oh, okay. I thought the switch was. Oh, no.
No. Yeah. It's the 20th, I
Tomorrow's
believe.
the anniversary of what they call the largest
Yeah,
insurrection.
and then the court date is the 10th, right? I believe he's doing it right before he goes in. His inauguration is the 20th, and it comes
January
in
10th.
Yeah,
January sentencing for January 10th with no penalty, unconditional discharge.
Right. So it's kind of like one of those ones where anything could happen. Anyone could readjust, can do. I mean, imagine you're in a fight with somebody and you're arguing, just like politically speaking, and you got to go meet somewhere on neutral turf, and you're not allowed out there on the neutral turf.
Yeah. Man, dude, so this is gonna be eventful. Everybody, make sure you stay tuned because I'm telling you, Joey's on this shit like a hawk.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna see how this goes, and I want to see how this affects the switch. Because
I mean, but who knows? It's not like I'm right about anything else. It's not like the Democratic Party of Illinois just decided they're going to kick a bunch of migrants out in the polar vortex to kill them. That we said was going to happen a long time ago. Never saw that one coming either.
No, right? But fat fuck's too obvious, bro.
Right.
He's way too obvious. That guy.
Yeah.
But
Big time.
Try to take a drink.
No,
of
we're.
fucking...
I thought you were going to spit something else on, and then you jumped into the
No.
drink.
I don't want to keep listening. We gotta stay tuned with the hemp bill. Obviously, right? That's something big going on in Illinois. But I would like to maybe we reach out to Sam and Ty, and we get them on here to give more of like a in the mix view. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in the mix literally daily on what's going on with that. So I'd like to get them on here, maybe somebody from Canna Equity or something like that, so that we can get them rolling and let them tell us their side and what they think. But, let's get on to probably, we're just going to call it the USA's Cash App account.
Oh, really?
Right.
So what hooker they buy this time?
Oh, man. So this time they let Hunter accept the request probably because Ukraine sent out a
Did they find this on Silk Road or are they on Telegram?
Oh no, they probably did this on Telegram these days. They got to stay away from the Silk Road. But Ukraine got that big package, right? And it was said in there that it was military package, right? It was mentioned in there for whatever. Yep. But what you're seeing is a week and a half and maybe a week and some change after the Ukraine launches or gets this fucking medical or military package and aid package, they launch a huge offensive against Russia, right? So now you just go out and you poke the bear like a son of a bitch, right?
But I don't know if it's poking the bear. I think it's validating the funds. I think that's what they're trying to do. I don't think they wanted to poke the bear. Hell, I don't think they...
Yeah, but that just means that they're going to need more, Joe.
Oh, 100% it means they're going to need more. But what they're doing is showing that they weren't given money to do nothing, and they needed the money. So poking the bear and then everyone getting shot up and like having a war and bloodbath that was not required at this point was not their priority. But the problem was when you get a bunch of people like me and you screaming the fact like, yo, why'd we send money? Why'd we do this? And everyone's like, what the fuck? Why'd you send all this money before? They're now saying, well, they were trying to do this over here. Let's go attack. And I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong in it, but what it looks like is a validation for the funds, right? Like,
well, yeah, it definitely validates the funds. So it definitely does validate the funds.
Basically, sure. Ukraine touched the tip.
Man, dude. But now look what you've created, right? So during all this, right, you're talking about Russia. I can't pronounce the area right. It's fucking weird.
Not even gonna try, my man.
Yeah, two tanks, one counter ballistic vehicle, 12 armored vehicles going through this bitch, tearing shit up. Right, that's all I'm getting out of it. Mm-hmm. They also launched a 61 drone attack. 61 drones.
Well, that doesn't sound like that much money. I mean, people are doing it for free all over Jersey.
Oh man, you don't listen. I got a segment ready for this. I got good notes on them, dude. Did you hear about that? Did you hear about the interview? No, we can't get lost off on this. We're gonna talk about this on the phone. My bad, motherfucker, dude. You brought it up. I have it in my notes right here too. I clicked the button the minute you said it. I was ready to go, dude. There's a ton on them drones, dude.
Well, why don't we do that tomorrow then?
We definitely will. We definitely will.
Unless you want to kind of keep going after this.
I wish I could, but Chooch is here alone.
No worries.
Chooch is here alone. And actually, shout out to my little guy, dude. He's only 4, right? And he is taking this filming and this music and entertainment stuff. He's taking it like a champ. He pays attention. He learns. He listens. and he really respects what I got to do. He's been a fucking champ today, dude. First time kicking it out there by himself while I film, dude.
So, shout out to him. And
shout out to Little Chooch.
While you're looking up that military stuff, want to tell anybody, if you ever want to see how messed up our system is and how the like military and like building stuff and beta testing works, there was a comedy movie released in the 90s, 1998 actually. It's called The Pentagon Wars. It's actually on HBO Max, the app, with Kelsey Grammer. He's the main actor. But it literally talks about people trying to make a weapon just to funnel money to departments that don't have actual weapons working, and how they rig the system to show that they're having products and creating like production and progress in this stuff while nothing they're building works. And it's literally death traps that they're funneling billions of dollars into over decades of something they never actually produce. It's actually a hilarious movie when you watch it, but yeah, but the sad part about it is it's probably actually what's happening.
Really, you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, how many times they talk about they're working on all these weapons or these stuff, or they have this massive defense budget for beta testing of stuff that never comes of it. And then then people start analyzing and getting into it and poking and trying to go into the financials. Then all of a sudden one thing's released and everything else just failed.
Well, what I want you to do, right? I want you to tonight to go and look at how they connected the Vegas bombing guy. He supposedly sent out an email to a certain, influencer or guy or whoever has a platform, right? He has some platform. He sent him an email. They pretty much have validated this email almost like fully, right? And he laid out an explanation for what the drones were for.
Oh, wow.
So I want you to go look it out. And dude, I'm telling you, this is going to blow your fucking mind because it plays into kind of a little bit of what you were just saying and telling you a little bit about what China and us really do have. Do have that nobody knows about, but yet we're paying for.
Right.
So we're paying for it all. We don't even know that it's there, right? We have no idea that it exists.
That's fun. I didn't even know. I was just hearing all your talk about the weapons. I'm like, dude, everyone's got to watch the Pentagon Wars. It's awesome.
Go do your research. I can't remember the guy's name right now. I have my
probably
notes
on every newspaper everywhere.
Are completely jobbled up right now, but I'm going to organize them, and I want you to look at it because the interview is quite interesting. The email is definitely interesting, and I know that the guy put things in the email that would be able to validate that he sent us because he knew that this guy was going to have the problem. So he told him, I think he told him the license plate number of his black Mustangs in there, right? I think the VIN number might be in, I think, right? Don't quote me, check it out. But he gave him all this verification stuff for the car that he drove.
Oh, wow.
And once again, ex-military, active. This one, I believe, was active, right? So these guys got to know something, right? And the problem is like you're saying, they fucking have a guilty conscience because of what they're doing and nobody knows about it. So now look at the way that they're acting. When a man got nothing to lose or a person's backed into a corner.
Yeah. They do. They act out. They rash out. They start attacking. It's a rats on a sinking ship.
Yep. But, so we wanted to dive in a little bit about, Ukraine's cash apps, which are about to end. I do not believe that they are going to get any more money. I don't see Trump sending them any money, and I really hope that he doesn't.
No.
So
I don't see it either.
And to be honest with you, I don't know how much we should really. I mean, I feel bad for what's going on out there. Power to the people, right? Always. But we got problems here too, guys. We got real live issues in this country. We are not in a position to be worried about everybody else's problems all the time.
Go borrow from China like we did.
Yeah, right? What the fuck?
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Dude, my dad made such a funny comment about China the other night, and I don't want to butcher it. I got to try to ask him, but he made the funniest fucking comment about China the other night. I was fucking dying. Absolutely fucking dying. But on to some amazing news, and I hope it's amazing news for you too, because I hope you listened. XRP is doing fucking amazing.
You called it.
XRP is doing fucking amazing, boys. And I want to tell everybody that anything I talk about with crypto and or stocks ever on here is just my own opinion. It is not financial advice. I'm a fucking degenerate gambler. That's why I'm good at it.
Yep.
But I do lose.
But one day he's going to make the huge coin thing is going to pull the rug out from you, so you all get hawk two'd yourself.
Dude, you told them. Except I won't do it bogus, dude. Don't do. I would. No, I wouldn't. I would.
You would.
Would I?
No, but you're going to say it right now. So you're saying it. You're going to pull the rug out, and if they forget, it's their fault.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, hypothetically, if I pulled the rug out and I benefited off of that, I would give back in a huge way.
Yeah.
If I hypothetically decide
he'll pay that Haley girl to go visit you all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to see her, but she can go see whoever. She could hawk two on your shit. But it's actually not a bad concept, Joe. Let's see who can come up with a coin. But I don't want to rug pull nobody though. Maybe. But so listen, so here, Joe, I need some insight from you on this, and I'm sorry, my fucking camera just went fucking that stupid fucking bullshit.
You can't just like hit it and it works.
I wish. So what does this mean, Joe? So the SEC filed an I guess an appeal or filed something against Ripple and XRP, right? If the SEC withdraws this appeal, right? It's good for XRP. If they continue to do it, you could see very, very, very bad numbers. It could be back down to the bottom.
Okay, so I don't know what they filed or what they did, but the best way to put it is every time the SEC gets involved, they're shoving a probe up your ass like a goddamn alien on a drone. So SEC is like the world's worst nightmare when it comes to fuck ups. Like if you have the SEC at your door, it's like getting a IRS audit. Like, except the difference is they care about more than just your taxes. They care about every penny, where it went, what it did, what's happening, which is why, remember when we talked about earlier, when people were weaponizing the SEC? So SEC is the worst thing you can get involved with. If you start breaking some of their rules and regulations, you're kind of up shit's creek without a paddle. And the worst part about it is, I mean, look at Theranos, look at WeWork, look at Nakatel, all these people who had SEC violations. They didn't show up to almost 2 years after the issue occurred. They sit back in the shadows.
This is old.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is also like been going on.
Yeah, so when they sit back in the shadows, collect data, and watch you fuck yourself, then they come in to like do the final kill blows and make it like deathly. So if they remove everything, that means they satisfied whatever issues they were under, whatever complaints they were being alleged against them, and everything that occurred. And they said none of this occurred, and it will probably go up. If it does not, and they keep going, it's basically saying there's financial mismanagement, there's some unethical things occurring, some fraud, something going on that is not kosher, and they're going to get the bottom of it. It's very rare that the SEC gets involved and somebody does not get hurt.
So what it is the SEC versus Ripple case has a deadline. The SEC must file its appeal related to opening brief by January 15th. In October, the SEC filed its notice of appeal with the U.S. Courts of Appeals for the Second Circuit. The SEC plans to challenge programmatic sales of XRP, ruling were significant.
Okay. So how they're selling it and how they're doing the pricing.
Okay, so that's all
I'm taking. I'm no expert. I'm not taking it, but just based on the context.
No, definitely.
That's based on the context of the sentence. That's how I'm inferring.
And I'm actually talking to a couple people right now about getting them on here that do know a lot about crypto. And I just seen you sent me this, right? You sent me this because of XRP.
I didn't even read it. I saw it. I'm like, dude, you're gonna want this.
Yeah, and I read it, and I mean, we got January 15th coming up.
We got a lot of big dates coming up.
What it says is that this can start. So right now, I know there was one country, I think it was in South America, that started using XRP, right? Nice. Which is hence, and I could be wrong about that. It could be fucking not misinformation, but that's what I believe I heard was the jump was for.
Right.
But what you're seeing now is these currencies are going to start being used as digital assets.
Oh, 100%. So I could see it.
If the SEC withdraws its appeal, right, we start seeing XRP move in that direction, we might have a nice situation and a good coin here. Really good coin.
Big time. I agree. But look, we almost lost track of time. Can you get us a spotlight in 30 seconds?
Oh no, we did a good spotlight with XRP today, man. Listen,
That's right.
everybody.
That's exactly what I was hoping you said.
Yeah, everybody, dude. XRP is doing great. This is just my opinion. It's not financial advice. We currently are working on a company fund, right, for crypto. I'm working on putting that together with some people that are interested in the situation. So, if we'll definitely have some news about that coming up.
And with that being said, thanks for effing around in the morning with us. I'm your co-host Joe.
JJ, everybody, have a great day.
Thank you for effing around with us in the morning.
See you tomorrow morning.
All right, see you tomorrow morning.
Effing around, start the day. Lesson brains, we got something to say. Feel the beat, the energy rise. It's morning mayhem, no surprise. We're effing around, sun's up, it's true. Morning vibes just for you.
Sounds good.